My dear students, hope you all are doing well, and I welcome you all. It's a grand welcome, it's a warm welcome to all of you in today's class, in today's session with Tanmay. So as you know that we are going through the first chapter in our Hornbill, that is the Portrait of a Lady, the prose text by none other than one of the most prominent writers in Indian English literature ever, renowned, Mr. Khushwant Singh. Well, today's class is an extension of the discussion we were doing about the portrait of a lady. The lady's portrait means the grandmother's portrait and portrayed by Khushwant Singh in his childhood, means the author in his childhood. Here we come to know about the beautiful chemistry. It's not only a chemistry in between two people, rather it's a chemistry of two people growing with their relationship, growing with their time, beyond their time, and the irrefutable arguments or the irrefutable presence or the intervention by some external factors. Anyway, we had a somewhat idea what this text is all about. And in today's lesson, as I promised you last day, I'm present with the textual analysis. Okay, so without delay, let's go through the text. So in paragraph 1, as you see, for the sake of your understanding, for the sake of your well digestion of the text, I have taken recourse to certain images for your help so that you can better relate yourself. With the text, with the writer, with the characters. My grandmother, like everybody's grandmother, was an old woman. That's true. If it's a grandmother, then it has to be old. She had been old and wrinkled for the 20 years that I had known her. So, the author and the grandmothers knowing each other, this is a span of 20 years. As per the time the writer or the author is trying to write the text. Wrinkle. Wrinkle is nothing, we all know, wrinkle is nothing but a symptom that you are aging, which is unavoidable. People said that she had once been young and pretty and had even had a husband. But that was hard to believe. Why hard to believe? Because when you see an old woman, when you see an old lady with her wrinkles, with her faded beauty, with her white clothes, and a completely non-lustrous beauty, it's really difficult for you to realize, my God, was that woman really, was that lady really a woman? A beautiful woman ever? That was the author's wonder too. Moving on, in the same part of the paragraph, in the second segment, we get to know about the grandfather. So Khushwant Singh, being a Punjabi, and his grandfather, though his name is not mentioned, let's assume that this is Khushwant Singh's Punjabi. Khushwant Singh's Dadaji or grandfather. Now, my grandfather's portrait hung above the mantelpiece in the drawing room, as the writer says. He wore a big turban, as you all can see. Here is a big turban in the image also. He wore a big turban and a loose-fitting clothes. The Punjabi people and especially the old people, they prefer using loose-fitting clothes so that they can find themselves better comfortable. His long white beard covered with the best part of his chest, and he looked covered till the best part of his chest means as long as possible, covering the frontal chest part of the grandfather. And he looked at least 100 years old. 100 years old, he looks like. Sometimes you look younger than you really are, and sometimes you look older than you really are. Maybe the second is the case here. He did not look the sort of person who would have a wife or children. Now, this is a wonder. In my previous video, or the introductory video also, I tried to make it clear for you, dear students, that whenever we see someone as old, it's hard to believe, maybe it's a grandmother, maybe it's a grandfather, that he or she was sometimes a young, beautiful, gorgeous, handsome people. And they can have a wife, means grandfather or grandmother means उनके सिर्फ छोटे छोटे पोते पोतियां होते. They can only have their grandchildren. They have their son, they have their wife. Things are a bit difficult to stomach. He looked as if he could only have lots and lots of grandchildren. As for my grandmother being young and pretty, because as compared to grandfather, grandmother was younger and pretty as well. The thought was almost revolting. She often told us of the game she used to play as a child. That seemed quite absurd and undignified on her part, and we treated it like the fables of the prophets she used to tell us. What is a fable? A fable is a moral story where not human beings but animals are the characters. And through the funny and amusing gestures of the animals, some moral lessons are being taught. That is a fable. So the fables, the prophets, I mean, it can be some mouth spread stories, some anecdotal stories that move around mouth to mouth, generation to generation. When you were young, when you were a kid, your grandfather or grandmother must have told you some stories. Even I remember my grandparents told me stories. So it looks to the author something of that sort. Now moving on to paragraph 2. As you can see that she had always been short and fat, and even in the picture you will see that the grandmother is short and fat. She had always been short and fat and slightly bent, a stooping figure, which is not uncommon for older people, especially so very old people like the grandmother. Her face was a crisscross of the wrinkles running from everywhere to everywhere. It means skin lacks glow, skin lacks a perfect shape, but the skin and the facial facial structure is all about the crisscross of the wrinkles everywhere to everywhere, means all the complete face. Now we were certain she had always been as we had known her. And it might happen, maybe it's a case that someone, when gets too very old, he or she stops getting old. I mean, that is the point of saturation. After that, no any aging can be felt, no any aging can be perceived. Now, old, so terribly old that she could not have grown older and had stayed at the same age for 20 years. So, as per the memory, while writing the text, as per the memory of the author, that now, as I find her, 20 years back, when I first saw her, she was all the same. I mean, she didn't change because she has been so very old. Now, she and I could never have been pretty, but she was always beautiful. She hobbled about the house in spotless white, hobbling about. So, if I just embolden the word hobbled about, this hobbled about means walking in a very slow movement. hobble about in the entire house. In spotless white means wearing a cloth that is spotless white, means complete white, with one hand resting on her waist to balance her stoop, and the other telling the beads of her rosary. Now it's a bit difficult for me to show you via acting or this enactment, but in one hand there is a rosary, beading of the rosary. Beads of the rosary are being counted, and some kind of chanting or the prayers going on, but muted prayers going on. And another hand at the west, and which is again a very common gesture for old people, because they can't stand for a long time and they want to make it happen. That's why they have to put a gatis over their waist. So these are still the gestures, still are the postures and the description part of the grandmother. Moving on, the paragraph 2, the second segment. Her silver locks were scattered untidily over her pale, puckered face, and her lips constantly moved in inaudible prayer. So, as you can see in the image, that the grandmother is counting the beads of the rosary, and some kind of inaudible prayer is being chanted. You can only feel that something is being chanted by that lady. But what was that she was chanting? You can't have any idea. Okay? Now, her silver locks. What is locks? Some portion of your hair, of your frontal face, some portion of the hair, when when accumulated and makes a particular shape on the top of your forehead, maybe right side, maybe left side, maybe in the middle, that is known as locks. So the silver locks, because gray or silver hair is a symbol of, again, old age. Silver locks were scattered untidily. It means it symbolizes unpreparedness. It symbolizes a nonchalance, an unwillingness to prepare to make herself tidy, clean enough. Now again, yes, she was beautiful. She was like the winter landscape in the mountains, an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. Somebody's clothes, somebody's clothes that somebody's wearing defines them, their character, their perfection, their magnificence, everything. Now, as you can see in the second image here, that the mountain landscape, not only mountain landscape, but I must say wintry mountain landscape. And wherever you look, like from the right side, from the left side, from the right top, from the bottom, everywhere you see just white and white. It's icy, it's cold, it's mountainous. So, just like that, in a very pure and white expanse. I mean, wherever you see, maybe the color pretty and the dress white, all coming together, and in total it reflects, it refracts brightness, luster, and which is an expanse of pure white serenity, breathing peace and contentment. White means peace, and a white top to bottom gesture of a kind, grand lady is something like speaking of peace and contentment, chain, sukoon, shanti, right? Now, we have come to paragraph 3. Now, in paragraph 3, you see there are some multiple images. You'll get to see, my grandmother and I were very good friends. Yes, friendship doesn't have any age, friendship doesn't have any condition, friendship doesn't have any relationship. It can happen with any two people at any time of life, at having any age, right? My parents left me with her when they went to live in the city, and we were constantly together. Yes, this is the reason that they became friends. This is the reason of their coming together. And this togetherness, this interdependency, when you know that the opposite The person standing opposite to you is the one with whom you have to stay, you have to spend your time, you have to live, having a sharing and caring. So automatically you grow some kind of concern to each other. And this is how sometimes unknowingly, unconsciously, you grow a kind of a friendliness, intimacy, dependency. So this kind of friendship that is being said here. And this was the reason parents left to live in a city. And these two people are left together. That's why they get time enough to come close. Now, she used to wake me up in the morning and get me ready for school. As you can see, this the getting up, the bathing, and getting ready for the school. All these images symbolize for you so that you can relate yourself. This is a very common scenario for all the school boys and girls, right? Yes. So she said her morning prayer in a monotonous sing-song manner. And while she bathed and dressed me in the hope that I would listen and get to know it by heart. She used to have a morning prayer chanting in a very sing-song manner, just like Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram, Patit Pavan Sitaram. So, if this is a chanting, Bhakti Gita, hmm? So this is a regular practice, a regular morning practice, and while doing that, and while the grandchildren, means Khushwant Singh, the author, was preparing himself for the school, it was an expectation from the grandmother that the author will also sing alike in the same manner. I would listen and get to know it by heart. By heart means to memorize. Now, I listened because I loved her voice, but never bothered to learn it. I didn't want to learn. I only listened because I loved her voice, nothing else. In the same paragraph, in the continuation, we get that. Then she would fetch my wooden slate. Then she would fetch my wooden slate, which she had already washed and plastered with yellow chalk, a tiny earthen ink pot, and a red pen, and tie them all in a bundle and hand it to me. So this is the preparation for, dressing, bathing, getting ready for the breakfast, all are preparatory process. But what am I heading towards? Where am I heading to? School. For what? Study. Where I'll do that. That is the preparation. The slate and the chalk pencil, whatever required. And the second part, you see the breakfast scenario. Even the image also symbolizes that. After a breakfast of a thick, stale chapati with a little butter and sugar spread on it, we went to school. She carried several stale chapatis with her for the village dogs. It's no wonder for us by now that she was a very kind, chaste, and pure lady. She had a empathy towards others. She had a sympathy towards animals. So not only she did feed her grandchildren, but also took some stale chapatis for the street dogs. Who does care in today's life? That's why they are the characters we get in books. Paragraph 4, eventually we get that. My grandfather, my grandmother always went to school with me because the school was attached to the temple. So I'm accompanying my grandchildren. My grandchildren will move to the school, and nearby there is a temple. Well, I'll sit for what? Let's see. The priest taught us the alphabet and the morning prayer for attending the school. And while the children sat in rows on either side of the veranda singing the alphabet or the prayer in a chorus, means in together, my grandmother sat inside reading the scripture, inside the temple door, reading the scriptures, as people do like this, reading the scriptures. It can be Gita, it can be Ramayana, it can be any other religious text. When we had both finished, means my school is also done, and the temple and the scriptures reading all are done by the grandmother, we would walk back together. मतलब एक साथ चलते चलते जाना और एक ही साथ लौट के आना. This time the village dogs would meet us at the temple door. They followed us to our home, growling and fighting with each other for the chapatis we threw to them. Dogs, very buffer. They know it well who loves them. They know it well that who care for them. And they also care them back. Maybe the tarika is something different, but they care. So while walking to school and temple, they are two people. But while coming back, maybe they are two people, but one out of them is grandmother, Khushwant Singh, the author, and accompanied by some street dogs, with the hope that some chapatis will be again thrown to them. Paragraph 5 talks about that when my parents were comfortably settled in the city, they sent for us. When they went for the city, they took some time to get themselves settled over there. And after they found themselves settled, they sent for us. Means, अब आप लोग आ सकते हो हमारे साथ रहने के लिए. Fine. So that was a turning point in our friendship. Because now they won't be living together. There will be some more people. There's a saying in Bengali, Odik Sonnashite Gajon Noshto. Gajon is an activity where if so many people are putting their head in, it becomes distorted, it becomes ruined, it becomes spoiled. So, why this is a turning point? You will be asked one important question after the text is over. That what was the turning point in their friendship? The turning point was that call from the city that you people can come and stay with us. Although we shared the same room, my grandmother no longer came to school with me. I used to go to an English school in a motor. I used to go to an English school in a motor bus. There were no dogs in the streets, and she took to feeding sparrows in the courtyard of our city house. So, in the city life, there only we get this paragraph 5 also talks about the city life. What are the changes that took place over there? I used to go to an English school, not in a primary school where a priest teaches, in a motor bus, not by walking. See the differences? There were no dogs in the streets. She took to feeding sparrows. Now, the position of the dogs are being taken over by the sparrows. So the city life and the village life, there are a lot of difference. And this will also be asked to you now, long answer question. Now, the last paragraph for today's discussion, that is paragraph 6 we get. As the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. As the years rolled by, वक्त तो किसी के लिए ठहरता नहीं. We know time and tide wait for none. So, as the years rolled by, we saw less of each other. Because जिंदगी के साथ-साथ busyness भी बढ़ते हैं. For some time, she continued to wake me up and get me ready for school. It's an old habit. When I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. Might be she got some doubt that in village there was a purity, there is a serenity, there is a practicality of knowledge that the priest of the church could give us, could give me. But now in the city life, I came back, she would ask me what the teacher had taught me. I would tell her English words and little things of Western science and learning, the law of gravity, Archimedes' principle, the world being round, etc. Means science is there, geography is there, English is there, and all these subjects and disciplines are far, far away from the grandmother and her periphery of learning and education. So this made her unhappy. She could not help me with my lessons. Maybe she was feeling helpless that बेटा तू आज इतना बड़ा हो गया कि मैं तेरी कुछ पढ़ाई समझ ही नहीं पाता. She did not believe in the things they taught at the English school and was distressed that there was no teaching about God and the scriptures. Why in the city life, why in the English medium school, there is nothing about God and scriptures? Whenever I ask you, my dear, you always say the world being round, Archimedes principles, this and that, but nothing about God, nothing about scriptures. One day I announced that we were being given music lessons. So she was very disturbed. Why? Music is very good. But her idea and senses towards music and the actual thing that happened with me was something different. To her, music had lewd associations. Music, especially this music that is being played and cultivated in the city life, are only the reflections of the Western factories, and there are some immoral activities associated, some lewd associations, and nothing of the civilized association. It was the monopoly of harlots. Harlots is a very disapproving word, um, hinting towards prostitutes or the body workers. It was the monopoly of harlots and beggars and not meant for gentlefolk. The kind of music that is being taught, maybe in the school, maybe not, but it is her assumption that तेरे शहर में music मतलब तो यही होते होंगे. This is the practical thing. I'm sure you people are being able to relate yourself with the text as well as with the surrounding, the literature, the society, the people, mankind. She said nothing, but her silence meant disapproval. She really talked to me after that. So there is the breach, there is a gap. And to bridge gap this moment, what did the author do? What did he do? We will see in the next video. But yes, in this video, whatever we taught, based on that, I'm now throwing two questions at you, and these two questions will be your homework to be written in your English notebook, and you will wait for the proper Google Classroom message where I'll inform you that where to submit and how to submit. Okay? Question number 1, that is for 3 marks, is what was the turning point in the friendship between the author and the grandmother? And how? What was the point of, what was the point of break in the friendship? You can see here also. Yeah, what was the turning point in the friendship between the author and the grandmother, and how? This was for 3 marks. And for 6 marks question is, describe the difference or differentiate between the life spent in the village life and the life spent in the city life by the author. Okay, so in this question's answer, you'll have to mention both the lives and certain areas of similarity and dissimilarity, finally coming towards a conclusion, a resolution rather. Okay, so how to write the question answers in a different video, we will again collaboratively learn. By the time, please try to write on your own, and yes, don't plagiarize, don't copy paste from internet or any other resources. No matter how much wrong you write, how many errors you commit, I don't mind, but your write-up has to be original. So, आज यही तक. Let's meet the next class in the next half of the text. Till then, take care. Bye.